throwing on a ranked game in the background that I played recently, but we're going to go right into the list. Actually, first, I'm going to say my criteria for this list is you must have a high base skill rating, like you must be individually mechanically good at the game. Okay, you must be skilled. You must be consistent. I value that so much. Consistency is huge in Rocket League. You got to show up every single game, every single second, blah, blah, blah. You can't just be putting on huge plays from time to time. And then my third thing is how well you played the role on your team, which is kind of weird. That one may not make as much sense, but I think a lot of these players on my list are the star players of their team. However, they do a lot of like their roles well. They fit well in their team. Okay. Anyways, we're going right into the list. And number 10, I have Daniel. I think Daniel can maybe be replaced by a few other people. Same thing as my like number 9 and maybe number 8. But I think Daniel is well for number 10 because he's clearly the best player on SSG. He almost made championships Sunday. He's on not only a successful team, but I think he like is clearly the best player on like SSG. I mean when Reynolds was on it and Arsenal. Uh, and some EU players like my honorable mentions for top 10. Actually, I'm gonna wait until later to mention that. But he, I think he deserves to make this list. I'm not gonna spend too much time on him. But number 9, I have Rise for Moist, of course, and I think he's often overshadowed by Vatira and Joyo even. People think Joyo is incredibly good. Like people are on that bandwagon all the time. I think Joyo's the most inconsistent on that team, but has the most like pop off potential, maybe mechanical potential. That's kind of like the words I want to use. But Vatira has most like pop off potential. Offense, defense, he does it all. On his best day, he's probably the best player in the world, Vatira. But Rise is incredibly consistent. He might be like my number 2 most consistent player on this list, maybe number 3. But he's at 9 for me because of his like I think there's a player better than him on Moist, and I think that if they had better results at this Worlds, then he would rank higher on my list. However, I still think he's worthy of number 10 or top 10 rather, because of just how consistent he is and how well he usually plays, and just well, I don't know, he's incredibly valuable to any team. But that's my reasoning for him. Number 8, I went with TRK. This is kind of interchangeable. These are my 3 that are a little shaky on this list. I think he's interchangeable with Rise and Daniel. They didn't make championships Sunday either. Team Falcons, they got swept by FaZe pretty convincingly. All of them were not looking too great. They were kind of stuck on defense a lot. TRK, however, is, I mean, everyone knows he is the best player on Falcons. Some people think Ahmad is. I don't think anyone thinks Okal is, but TRK has incredible mechanical skill, kind of just like Daniel. But I think I know TRK's teammates are definitely better. But TRK is probably more mechanically skilled than Daniel, I think. Is that crazy to say? That might be crazy to say, but I think it's true. And then I think he's consistent on a team. I don't find him ever to be like playing the worst. Very rarely. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think he definitely earns a spot on my top 10 list. And he might even be a little too low. I think 8's good for him. But going right into number 7, I have Atomic, G2 player. He could be a little too low as well. But and G2 finished second at Worlds. So you can definitely make an argument that he should be higher up. But Atomic is a little more inconsistent than the rest of these players. However, G2's team is so good, and he individually is like also incredible. Like the role on his team kind of thing too. Besides Worlds, like finishing second, I think he brings like so much value to G2. Honestly, him, Chicago, or JNAPS could like replace him on this list for top 10. But I think Atomic is the one I would choose on his best day. But maybe even JNAP should be there. I don't know. Probably honorable mentions. I'll mention the other 2. Number 6 is Vatira on Moist. I kind of mentioned this already, so I'm going to be really quick. But Vatira, just don't catch him on a on day because he's absolutely disgusting. He will play the best offense you've ever seen. He will pressure you. He'll starve you. He'll just pop off. And while he's doing that, he'll just guard his net like his life depends on it. Number 5, Beast Mode. pretty obvious. I think he's the hard carry, and I mean hard carry of version 1. Calm is next up on that list, and then Torment, I kind of think it's very clear it goes Beast Mode, Calm, and Torment on that team. But I think for sure Beast Mode carries that team, and he played phenomenal at Worlds. Maybe the first day, I can't remember if it was Worlds, but the first day he didn't play that great. But after that, he played really well, I thought. He definitely carries, not carries, but he plays, he's the best player on that team, and a lot of people know that, I'm sure. But definitely number 5 for me. I think he makes that team go to new heights with him on it. 4, I think the top 4 is my strongest part, but my number 4 could be my number 1, and any of them could be number 1. But number 4 for me is Seiko. And I think it's Seiko because he is one of the best players in the world and one of the best on Team BDS. Not quite, though. So we probably know who is above him. But Seiko is probably the most offensive on BDS, and he plays that role incredibly well. He got his confidence and his act together in Worlds, because Spring Major, if you guys remembered, played so bad. Same thing as Winter Major, I'm pretty sure. Or no, Winter Major was with Mark, right? I don't know. Spring Major, I do know, though. Seiko and Extra were shitting the bed. It was really bad. I mean, I remember watching Seiko's POV, and it was just awful. Wow, I just demoed 2 kids in the background. That was crazy. And we won that game. But Seiko, you could argue he's number 1. He is the best. A lot of people think that. But I think I think there's 3 people that are better than him. Play their role better on their own team. And not more skill. I think Seiko's like top in terms of skills. Stuff like that. But just let's go to the rest of this list. 3, I have Firstkiller. Player for FaZe, of course, and everyone loves Firstkiller. If you're from North America, you love Firstkiller automatically. You think he's the best in the world, and you love FaZe until you die. I think if FaZe won stuff more often this season, I'd have him higher up on this list. Wow, look at that shot by me. If Firstkiller, like, if FaZe won more stuff with the roster they had, I'd have him higher up. But and I think that's like, people would say, well, that's really stupid. This is top 10 individual players, right? But once again, I value winning a lot in terms of top 10 players. So therefore, he is number 3 for me. He does win, but sometimes he doesn't win. Number 2, I have Yanxnz. So you probably know who number 1 is. Yanxnz plays for Furia, South American. If you haven't watched him, you've been living under a rock. I said Beast Mode carries version 1, but I think Yanxnz actually carries the fuck out of Furia. Not really. Okay, that was rude. That was disrespectful. Card and KO are actually really good and get a lot of disrespect. They're top 20 players, both of them. So I don't know why I said it like that. But Yanxnz, in terms of like playmaking and scoring and just producing offense, nobody's better than him at. Nobody. Easily the best at that. I'm confident about that. It's just crazy how well he can put the ball in the back of the net and how well he can get it open for his teammates, get them free buckets, anything. It's pretty insane. And Furia wins. They won the most money in the whole entire year. They won Gamers 8 LAN for $2 million. And they came in 3rd or 4th at RLCS World. So, I mean, it's only fitting Yanxnz is at number 2 here. Number 1, or honorable mentions we'll do first. Extra, JNAF, Chicago, Sipical. I think that's pretty fair for top 10. Let me know if you think I missed out on any players. But going right to my number 1 player, since this video's been long enough, I have Monkey Moon for Team BDS. And I think he's the most consistent player in the world. He got his ass whooped on LAN at the Spring Major, Winter Major, but I think a lot of that was due to his teammates. I think Monkey winning this Worlds made him the best player in the game. I think it's pretty clear how much value he brings to Team BDS. We saw the trade from Mark to Seiko, and Monkey just adapted well with that. So he can play with anyone. He is incredibly mechanical. He controls his boost well, and he's to top it off, he doesn't fuck up much. So if you're playing against Monkey, you better say your prayers, because I don't know, try and demo him, because you're not gonna catch him making many mistakes. So that's my top 10 list. I'm sorry if this is a little bland or stale, but I'm I was kind of inspired by some people to make a top 10 list like this. So that is my thoughts on the matter. Leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe, all that. I love y'all. Have a great day. Peace.